Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Taste of Reality. My name is Queenie. For those that don't know me, reviewing Love. Nope. What show is this? The Ultimatum, Season 1, The Reunion. Like I alluded in the last video, poorly executed. There were so many other things I wanted them to talk about that they didn't get into. And I guess because these are real relationships that came into the process and the engagements were also just as real. It's kind of hard to have the nitty-gritty conversations because you're messing with like real relationships. Like these people knew each other before coming into the show. Whereas the messier kind of show, like even the Love is Blind reunion, it could be messier because they were strangers before coming in. And they were even strangers getting engaged, you know? So yeah, I wish they dug into some more things. But out of the gate, they hit us with a bombshell. A bombshell? A bomb drop? It was a bomb.
Oh, guys. Check that out.
Madeline is 7 months pregnant with a baby girl. All right. Can't lie, they look good. They do look good. They look like your typical white couple who went to Christian college, was engaged from freshman year, and now they're on baby number 3. That's what they look like to me. I know that's very specific, but that's what they look like. Honestly, regardless of my feelings, God bless that marriage. God bless the baby. And Vanessa, you shady for this gift. What the hell? So they kept on being shady and asked Nate if he was this was next level grimy. They asked Nate if he was envious of them being pregnant because everybody knows Nate really wants children. And he's like, no, in being engaged to Lauren, I had already taken the sacrifice that children is just not going to be in my future.
I would rather spend the rest of my life with her than having to go find someone that's 80% at best of what Lauren is to me and have a kid to fill the remaining 20%.
So later on, we do learn that they agreed to having one child, right? However, they're not actively working on having that child. They just agreed to having one child. I feel like if they don't work out the reasons behind why she's so hesitant on having children, he will resent her. And maybe even she resenting him if they have children and he doesn't show up in the way that he needs to, especially the way that she was explaining their situation to Colby. Her main thing was she didn't feel safe enough to have a child with him. He works a lot. They don't have communication. She's afraid of pregnancy itself. Motherhood is terrifying for even the most prepared, because you're never truly prepared, person. So I think they're so hung up, well, Nate specifically is so hung up on our biggest issue was she doesn't want kids. No, her biggest issue is not being safe enough to have a child with you and know that I'm going to have a teammate through thick and thin if we go into this parenthood thing. And so when she's like, yeah, we need to seek professional help, absolutely. I wish they would have stayed in the process more. And I wish she would have had that time with Colby to really dive into more of her fears and more of her desires with children, not having children, pursuing Nate. But he did them a disservice, so it is what it is. They did touch on the awkward proposal, and he says, you know, regardless of who he was going to pick, he always wanted Lauren at the end of the day, and that his lack of options was kind of the reason why he proposed, but it was always his intention. Like, it was kind of confusing because he was like, I was going to pick Madeline when he whispered, oh, I'm going to pick you. It was to go along with the process in order to just pick somebody. I think he still shouldn't have proposed. Like, if you knew at the end of the day you're still going to choose her, go through this experiment and really like iron out those kinks, really discover whether or not you're going to be together. I understand how scary it is to see that the relationship that you've invested so much in has the potential of ending if you open yourself up to other possibilities. But look at the other couples who, I mean, Miss I Don't Believe in the One is pregnant with another one. So, you know, like, in as much as it's scary, I do feel like they could have benefited from really giving it a proper try, but they didn't, so it is what it is. Moving on to Alexis and Hunter. They are set to be married in June, and they moved in shortly after the proposal, despite her financial requirements prior to getting married.
It's not as important because I think there's a lot of other things in our relationship that are better to focus on.
I don't like Alexis, so I'm not going to stick on it too long. I am, however, glad that she changed her perspective on money. That's it. So obviously there was a pregnancy scare with April. And now I'm just like, April, if you know that this hormonal thing is something that happens, like why go straight to I could be pregnant? Let me not judge, because if you really want to be pregnant, you want to keep that hope alive. So, okay, I take it back. I take it back. But they are asked what would have happened if she truly was pregnant. And Jake says, listen, I would have stayed. You know, we were having unprotected sex. You've got to accept the ramifications of that action. They're also asked about the twerk video. And April's reenactment was pretty spot on. So obviously they did not choose to stay together. And Jake says that after the process, he took time to really discover himself because he felt like he didn't have time to just be Jake. He wasn't really respected. His ideas weren't respected. His needs weren't respected in his previous relationship. As if he's not talking about April. Oh, the mess. And so April's here chuckling. And they asked her and she's like, oh no, that's BS because I was disrespected.
It felt like my 3 weeks was taken when I was with Jake. Jake was out checking on Rey and her mental well-being. Seeing him check in with Rey, I know that they had a connection, but like watching that, it felt disrespectful.
At the end of the day, she does say she's thankful for the process because she really got to see how incompatible they were. And although it was hard, she had to accept that reality. They did, however, relapse, which was not a surprise to me at all. I think they said, was it for a couple months that they were fooling around or whatever? I forget. I didn't really write that down. But she is in a serious relationship. She found herself an older person who she does not argue with. He wants to marry her, and they have talked about children. So, hey, hopefully now you see that a partnership can really be healthy and you don't have to force somebody into something. If they truly love you and your beliefs and values truly align, it's just gonna work seamlessly. Well, with belief seems. What, seamless? So seams are bad. Well, whatever. Y'all know what I'm saying. Ugh, I don't have to explain myself to you. Jeez. So with Jake and Rey, they did not end up going on the trip. And she says that they both decided to take time to heal. And that Rey and Zay did give it another try, but it didn't work. And she is trying to explain that, you know, it was an amicable decision not to go further with Jake. Zay is like, don't lie. You were shacked up with me the whole time. We were having sex the entire time. How are you going to go on a trip when you was knocking the boots with me?
Why are you fucking me every day? You know,
I was not fucking you every day.
Cap, you didn't go on the trip because you was with me the whole entire damn time.
I predicted they would relapse too. That doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise. They were having too much sex to just cut it off like that. I don't believe it. I believe him. I do. In that instance, Vanessa brings up Zay's solo night out, and he says that before he chose not to stay in the bed with her, she had already told him that morning that the relationship is done. She doesn't want to leave the process with him. So he's like, I mean, why am I going to lay up in the bed with somebody who's choosing to leave me?
My phone died. I was with one of my friends and one of her friends, and I ended up getting drunk and passing out at his house.
So that's the truth.
That's my truth.
That's your truth.
So Rey's biggest frustration was that she feels like he still should have came home regardless of their relationship status. If you tell me you're not going to stay with me, I'm not coming home. However, the way he went about it was still bad. You don't just disappear like that. You know what I mean? Like, especially knowing your plan is to get wasted. Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't care if we're broken up. We still have some kind of friendship at the least. Or at least keep me in contact with somebody who you're out with. You could do that, okay? So moving forward, she does say that she realizes how unaffectionate, unexpressive she was, and that he did deserve somebody who was more vocal about her feelings for him, who was more affirming of their relationship, and she apologized for not being that for him. She is bi, which we did not know, and she's currently exploring her sexuality. She has a casual relationship with a woman while he is still single, has been single since Rey, and is just focusing on himself. So they talk about Zay and Shanique's trial marriage. And Shanique shares that she engaged sexually with him kind of out of spite, which we knew. You know, she was feeling left out because everybody else was really diving into the experiment. But in engaging with him physically, she learned in that moment that it wasn't going to work.
This wasn't my person, you know? And I feel like I needed to experience that to know that.
So Shanique and Rey did form a friendship. This is one of the things that I wish they dived deeper in. Shanique and Rey did form a friendship, right? And we learned that Rey was still in the dark about Shanique and Zay's relationship and their relations, right? But if you're friends with Shanique, shouldn't you also be mad at Shanique for not saying anything? Like, I get it. Zay is completely in the wrong. Completely in the wrong. Because you're not gonna sit here and accuse me about things that you've already done. You see, that's what people do. When a lot of people point out things that they assume that you're doing, you should assume it's because they're the ones doing it. Just food for thought. You're not going to sit up here and accuse me about something when you're the perpetrator. So I was like, oh, Zay. But also, oh, Shanique, because somebody should have told the girl.
I have a right to be frustrated.
I accept full responsibility for what we did.
You always deflect. You always fucking do this. You always deflect.
Do you want to go there?
Don't raise your voice at me.
Did I not just say I accept full responsibility? Did I not say that?
You said you accepted it while you were counterattacking me.
In this moment, I'm like, okay, kudos to Rey for finding her voice. Kudos to Rey for not letting herself being talked over. However, he was trying to accept responsibility, which he did. It just was falling on deaf ears for Rey because she's still very riled up. You know, she was even seeking comfort from my boy Jake, okay, holding hands and whatnot. But you cannot say, don't attack me. Well, he hasn't said anything. You haven't let him say anything. He didn't get to say nothing. The roles have clearly reversed with the two of them, where, you know, now he's trying to express himself. He's trying to say something and she's not letting him get a word in. That's kind of how we saw things with them in the experiment, where she's trying to say something and he's not letting her get a word. Like, it just, clearly it was never going to be longevity for the two of them. He gets overwhelmed by the process and he does walk out, which honestly I'm okay with, because all y'all in the comments who be saying, oh, Zayn's aggressive, Zayn's whatever, Zayn's da-da-da. Y'all, please save it. Save it. I'm so sorry. Some of y'all are going to be upset, and I'm going to say it because I don't care. Y'all see a big black man raise his voice a little bit, and y'all be ready to piss yourselves and want to spew, oh, he's aggressive. He's too aggressive. Relax. Relax. Sometimes it's not that, all right? I also want to clarify that in no way am I justifying Zay's behavior. However, you guys are not going to demonize a black guy just because you see him get loud. If we're being completely honest, if we're going to call Zay aggressive, you can put that on Nate. You can put that on April. There were other people exhibiting similar behavior, yet aggressive was only used to describe Zay. The word aggression, the word aggressive in the black community is like a stereotype that people like to use to kind of perpetuate the angry black woman, angry black man trope. And I don't like it. He was exhibiting similar behavior that other people were using, and I didn't see not one person address anybody but Zay as aggressive. So y'all gonna stop that, not on this channel. Okay, we can call somebody out, But y'all are not gonna put your racial biases on my channel. Please, 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 never that. I see a very broken Black man, and I see a lot of those. And I hope in watching this, a lot of people see themselves in it and they're like, yo, I need to get this in check because this is not okay. This is not a way to live. I need to understand that my trauma does bother me. And I wish they went into that as well. Like, I wish they talked about that conversation between Shanique and Zay and really get into like why he was so triggered about her just pointing out that, yo, people have trauma. Like, he got so triggered so fast. Get into that, dive into that. But I feel like they, in their minds, already demonized him, so it was never gonna go there. With Randall and Shanique, though, they're not engaged. Surprise, surprise, to nobody at all.
I'm just really happy that we're just not in that place that we were on the show. Yeah. Because I watched that back and like completely mortified.
In the process, they could not share a damn thing about how they have done better in their new formed relationship, in their trial marriage. They couldn't. And I keep saying it could have been editing. I doubt it. So with them, they did break up for 6 months, but a series of losses in Randall's life really affirmed to him that Shanique is his person. She's his best friend, and they are back together and they are working it out. I would rather they do that than be engaged, because I could never justify the engagement. It didn't make sense to me. But y'all just getting back together as boyfriend and girlfriend, cool. Cool. I'm cool with that. Madeline and Colby, they're asked about the open relationship comment, and they say that his reasoning was that since he didn't get paired with somebody who he initially wanted to explore the process with, that was his way of giving the process a proper try.
You had to have an open relationship. You had to cut that person off you're with and open it to someone potentially sitting here.
When you put it that way, I kind of understand. But regardless, we signed up for something specific. If you step out of that, it's still a violation of our agreement in our relationship. So I would consider it cheating, but I get how the line was blurry there. Madeline also says that her friends and family are on board with the marriage and the pregnancy, obviously. It's just that her friends are true ride or dies. So if she don't like Colby, they don't like Colby. If she loves Colby, they love Colby. You probably shouldn't have yes man in your circle, but hey, it's your circle, not mine. At the end of the reunion, all of the women say in hindsight, they would have picked Colby to partner with. I think it was Hunter who said he believes that Nate learned the least in the experiment, and I would have to co-sign. And then Shanique drops this bit of knowledge.
That olive oil can be doubled as lube.
Hey! Wow. Now I want to know whose secret that is.
Why? Why would you say that? You're trying to fix things with Randall. One would insinuate that you're talking about Zay, but hey, whatever. Hey. Oh, this show was insane. I would love to see some fixing of the editing. I would like them to integrate more people in the process if they do get picked up for a season 2. And I would like them to have a hold on when proposals happen, that it has to be at the end. You can leave the process, but don't be trying to propose to block somebody from picking your partner. I didn't like that. But if they do come back for a season 2, I will be here to review it. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on Saturday so we can talk about it all.